Hey everybody, today I have another deck for you, and this time round it's going to be Skellige. It's going to be a bit of Arnjolf. I decided to come back to this guy because he's a pretty cool leader. He has a very cool ability. I was not finding too much success with Henso, and I've been iterating upon a version of Arnjolf today that I think is quite powerful and viable. Maybe not quite as good as some other decks out there, things like Crack maybe, and potentially Bran Lippy, although I'm not sure how good that deck is exactly. But this one was definitely performing quite well, and it's pretty unique, and obviously your opponents are not really going to expect what you're running when they do run into you. So what is the idea of the deck? Well, it is pretty much revolving around good old Arniel's leader ability, of course. The opponent's row stacking a lot with things like Witchers, and Skellige is pretty common with Skirmishers and Morkvarg, which will go on front row. So there's a lot of row stacking going on at the moment from people in the meta, and you can really punish that quite nicely with Lacerates, which we're running, as well as Colossal Ifrit, who's also a pretty powerful card. And there are other tools, of course, to get value from the Bloodthirst that Arnjolf brings to the table, as well as other ways to get value from the opponent's row stacking, such as Trophy Catch, which is a new card that is pretty good in Skellige. Not new, but it got buffed with the recent patch to only be 4 provisions, so it's actually quite good most of the time now. And yeah, the idea of the deck is pretty much win those long rounds with Lacerates. You've got Novellen to set up a big row full of units to hammer them down if you need to. You have the movement with Trophy Catch to help there a little bit as well. And you have Colossal Ifrit, kind of like a Lacerate, which then sticks around as an engine afterwards. Very cool card, and I've been getting a lot of value from that. There, of course, are other tools in here. We've just got the regular SK package with discards, longships, bloodthirst captains, and yeah, of course, those lacerates. We have witches for thinning. We have Skell for a bit of removal. We have Burner. She's in most decks. I was thinking about Coral, but I don't think there's enough specials that you want to discard to actually make her worth running. Harold and Roach are good here, though. Tempo, and of course, just a nice way to get 9, 10 value, often with those skulls proccing through that Harold ability. And Orkvist is also very nice for the long round, giving a lot of bloodthirst and allowing stuff like Lugos to hit for very big value later on in the game. So it's a pretty straightforward deck, but it has a very powerful long round with the Lacerates and the movement, and a powerful short round as well with Arnjolf and Svanrige. And, he's known for being a pretty big body on the board. You can also make sure that those little sirens that are spawned with his ability do not get the opponent any value, because you're just killing them with Lacerates anyway, or Colossal Ifrit. So pretty cool deck. Been having a lot of fun with it, and I think it's quite good. So let's jump into a game or two and see if we can win. Alright, we're going to be up against Bran. Probably going to be Lippy Bran, I guess. Pretty damn popular deck at the moment. But I'm not sure how good it really is. I guess we'll find out here. Let's mulligan that Roach and make sure we don't have any bricks in the hand. Can also probably get rid of a Captain just to have a look at more options. Skald is alright, I guess. We can keep it. Don't want to mulligan into a Witcher. That'd be quite bad for us. So I think starting with the Witches is fine. We're going to make sure our Longship doesn't just die to a Coral or Marauder or whatever. We'll get a lot of bodies on the board.
Let us put our steel to the test.
And there is the Marauder. Some versions are running that and some aren't, I do believe. But Longship should be safe now. We can also tactical advantage our Witcher. He shouldn't be too vulnerable. Yes, he could die to Professional, I guess, but not the end of the world if that happens.
This'll be quick and painful.
And we're going to see the Witchers come out for him. Playing right into Lacerate. Often you can use one of these in round 1 to, get a large amount of points. Saving Ifrit for later on is often a good idea, because it can clean up those Arnjolf creatures very, very easily. Very cleanly. Here, though, for now we can go with Burner, I think. Get a look at more of our deck, more of our options. Maybe get rid of a Skald here. And yeah, I think I'll get rid of the Skirmisher and a Skald. That might end up, hurting us later in the game, as we do have 2 more bricks to get rid of, but most likely we won't draw into them and it'll be okay. We won't draw into both of them, at least. And we can just keep things rolling. We don't need to win this round. Typically, you're not going to win round 1, I want to say, with this deck. It can be difficult to, win a medium-sized round if you're not committing any of your really good cards. But we might throw off a Lacerate here. Having 2 of them can be a little bit overkill. sometimes, especially with that Ifrit as well. We don't have any captains or anything to kind of slow play with, I guess. So we can probably go ahead and just, you know, fire off a lacerate. 8 points, not too bad. Will definitely give us some breathing room here, although we're probably going to pass pretty soon, I would imagine. Longship, I think, is fine to get rid of. These aren't really the most important cards. They're just 5 for 5 and sometimes enabling Bloodthirst if you don't have it already in a round where you're not playing Arnjolf. The opponent is going to get a Roach, though, from their, what's it called, Uma. But fortunately it's pulling a Skirmisher, so Coral's pretty nice, but Skirmisher is not, obviously. So we're going to be able to get out of this round. Just about. Uma's always quite scary. We could also just play Okvist and really go for it here. Try to win. I don't necessarily mind that approach. The only issue is it's going to probably die because he has Longship on the board and 4 damage would then kill it. Things like Chironex, Ifrit. Rather not lose the Okvist this round if we can avoid that. We'd end up losing on even probably then, and that's going to be a bit too hard to win. So, save pass. And then expecting to be lippied. Round 2, right? That's usually what happens. So we can mulligan maybe these Pirate Captains, one of them at least. And I think 1 Trophy Catch, not the best card ever. I really wanted to find one of my quote-unquote bricks for the skull to work properly, but unfortunately we didn't find any of those. It's going to be a bit of a clumsy hand to actually use in this round. We could probably just start with Skull, I suppose. Although maybe we want to kill some stuff. Only going to be Muzzle and not many cards there. Interesting. We could play Skull, I suppose. It's not going to be the end of the world, I don't imagine, if they have Chironex Unicorn or whatever. That might be kind of bad, who knows. So we probably throw the Ifrit down, I imagine, onto this row, this back row here. We'll just take a little bit of value from it and enable our Bloodthirst without committing our leader. And we'll of course save the Lacerate and Velen if we can into round 3. If we can't, well, we might have to play them. That is something that can happen. But we can move everything into this back row for Ifrit with Nivellen making it a pretty high tempo play if we need to do that. Now it might be worth playing the Skuld here onto the captain. It's kind of awkward because, well, I mean, we might hit one of our dead cards, right? That being said, most of our cards aren't dead in the deck, so I think I'm going to go for it. It's a little bit risky maybe, but the alternative is never playing this, which is maybe even a worse, idea. We can get ahead with Lugos if they pass. But that is going to be a Chironex. Not the end of the world, as we can Trophy Catch to kill it, should we want to do that. The only issue is, we're very far behind on points right now. So I think I'd rather go with an Okvist and actually win with the Lugos and the Okvist proc. Or, you know, depending if they pass or not. We don't have to play Lugos, maybe. Still trying to hold on to Nivellen, although it's getting weaker and weaker. But now our Lugos can really deal with that Unicorn proc, and we can pretty much wreck the board here. How many points are we getting? We're getting 10 from the Okvist, and then this will be able to kill this, so 13 on top of that. Now, we could throw out the Arnjolf if we really wanted to go crazy here and try to fight for card advantage. I think it's probably not a good idea, though. Having that in round 3 will be very nice alongside Svanrigger. So what do we play? That is the question. I think we're definitely going to throw out the Okvist proc here, I imagine. Kind of no reason not to do that. Yeah, I think it's worthwhile. And we can probably just play this Lugos anyway for 12. That's probably the best it's ever going to be, right? And we're not quite ahead enough that we are, you know, safe to pass or whatever, but we could take the round now with Trophy Catch, and I think that's what we're going to do. It works out quite nicely for us, I think. That being said, I mean, this combo in a 5-card round 3 isn't going to be particularly strong. But you know, you've got to keep in mind that the Arnjolf Sirens will take a hit from the Lacerate as well, so it's not that weak. We'll effectively get 3 extra points on that guaranteed. Unfortunately, these bricks are not going to be too great. We'll get rid of Skirmisher, and we can mulligan Morkvarg if we want, but I actually might prefer to get rid of Trophy Catch here. We need that Svanrigger very badly, and there it is. So Morkvarg can be a strong first play. It's not really going to be too vulnerable to any removal from the opponent. And after that we can go with Harold, start shooting the skulls. Morkvarg might, you know, even become a 10-point card if he does die, so it's not the worst card to have ever. And this combo might not be too powerful, but as long as we're hitting for like 6 or 8, not including the Arnjolf, then it's probably okay. I guess we'll just see what the opponent's got, but our leader ability is definitely going to give us a little bit of extra power that the opponent won't have, because they've only got that Baran ability. That's going to be Marauder, so we managed to tank a ton of the damage there on the Morkvarg, which is very nice. Let's go with Harold now, and we'll start shooting his skulls. Hopefully the Morkvarg will die at some point, that'd be very nice. And yeah, he's going to discard some specials, so you would imagine, if we're lucky, or not unlucky, that Morkvarg or the skulls will die. But apparently he hits our other guy twice, which is very fucking unlucky for us, let's put it that way. Very unlucky. But okay. We even have the ability to lacerate our own board here. That's kind of... I'm actually amazed that that happened just there, but okay. Sometimes Gwent things do happen in Gwent. That is how it goes. So where do we want to go with this? We can go front row. Most of the units are already there. We're going to Novellin anyway, but this is our Svanrigger turn basically. And we're not actually going to lacerate our row, that'd be kind of crazy. So even with that going horribly wrong, we're probably okay still. We have a lot of points at the moment, and we've got some waiting in reserve still. So I don't imagine it'll be the end of the world. And we'll see. They have used a lot of the good cards already, right? All the unicorns and whatnot, so there might be witches still, I guess, is one thing to be afraid of. Finally, we're going to proc the skulls. Sad part being is we were going to kill all that stuff anyway, the lacerate, so yeah, we still gain a couple of points there, I guess, but could have been a lot better, let's put it that way. We really wanted to hit Morkvarg, because that would have been an extra bunch of points. But what can you do? Sometimes you're unlucky in games. So are there any row-locked units here? Not really, right? But we may as well move everything to the front. We do have mediocre lacerate for 8. It's not too bad. It's pretty good really for 7 provisions, but we might clean up a skirmisher or something here as well. If we're lucky. And it hit Morkvarg! Wow, that's really, really good news. Finally some luck on our side. Going to be able to take that lacerate and, you know, should be winning now. Those extra Morkvarg points definitely going to make it hard for the opponent to overcome, although they have Uma, so not going to cut it this time round. Synthesis ain't it. Alright, that went reasonably well. Let's jump into another and see if we can win. Alright, next opponent Eldane. We're in his forest now, so we better step carefully. With the mulligan, what are we doing? Well, we could probably get rid of a trophy catch, but it's an okay discard as well with skulls, so maybe a longship or captain is preferable to that. And roach then short. Don't have witches in hand, but I'm sure we'll get them with the Skald draw that we have. Let's start things off with longship. We can try to kill these elves off slowly but surely. So we've got to be aware of a lot of different traps here. Could be all manner of things about to happen. And it's going to be a Dragoon. That's not really stopping the value from our longship right now. Let's shoot the Dragoon here. I don't think there's any point in hitting the Neophyte. It will just get buffed. If we shoot the Dragoon, there's a chance they won't buff it because they'll think that we might have tool removal, Geralt or whatever. So we can go ahead and Scald now.
Don't you pester me.
Sounds fine.
Nothing like some overseas plundering in springtime.
And we'll try to get that Pirate Captain out of hand as well. We can discard the Morkvarg. In fact, the Pirate Captain is looking really, really nice onto Elven Scout, so let's go for that.
What's this on one?
We're going to try to spread our rows a little bit for Crushing Trap. That card is a bit spooky. And almost certainly in his deck. In fact, certainly, right, if they're playing Eldain. 100% has to be there. So, another Scald looks fine to me. No problems.
Hey, listen here. Listen,
I may want to keep shooting with the Longship because we might be able to deny Crushing Trap value eventually, right? By getting this to 1 or 0 strength. That is going to be the first trap coming down. I would imagine it's a Crushing Trap, but could be other things as well. We'll just play a Trophy Catch for now, I think. Looks pretty safe to me. In fact, we could move the Dragoon here, and if it is not a Crushing Trap, then we might be able to eke out a little bit of value onto, if it, if it's a Horn or something, we might be able to deny that for a little bit. Not super likely, but looks like it is Crushing Trap. And, we're pretty far behind at the moment, but we can keep playing if we want. We have the reach to do that with some of our cards here, so is there something we desperately would like to play? We could play Lacerate if we want, or the Colossal Ifrit. Both are kind of pretty expendable since we have another Lacerate in the deck. Maybe we go with the Lacerate here, I think. Get 6 points from it while we can, and we'll kill that elf as well.
You shall end like all the others.
Uh-oh, I'm going to end like all the others, which I assume means I will die. Or something. Alright, let's take it with Skjald. Skjald? God, my brain is not working. And we do have Roach as well, I kind of forgot about that, but it's fine. Taking the round is not a bad thing ever. Against Eldain, especially, we can push him in round 2 a little bit and try to bleed resources from him. If you get traps out in round 2, then they're not properly able to use that Eldain leader ability and the charges on that to actually get the value that they want. So let's push here a little bit with Witches to start with. And then we might choose to even throw our leader out if it's worth it. But bleeding this deck is definitely going to be a good idea, I think. So we could throw Burner down. I'm a little bit worried that she'll end up, making us discard a pretty good card. So I think I'm actually going to prefer to go with the Herald here. We'll put him here so that Crushing Trap will end up proccing the Skulls if he plays it. And therefore, damage his whole board and whatnot. So right now we're looking pretty fine. I think we can probably go close to all in with the Arnjolf now. We want to make sure our really good cards, stuff like Svanrigger, are enabled. So if we just throw them out right now, it's going to put so much pressure on. If there's stuff like Pitfall Trap, or even any traps really, it's going to be hard for the opponent to actually find the value on them. So we could pass here, but I don't think that's ever a Pitfall Trap, which means the Ifrit here is pretty nice. We could just Lacerate, and that would maybe be a bit of a safer play. So you know what, I'm going to do that. Just in case it is Pitfall, we can kind of see whether it's Horn or whatever as well. And this will give us a bit of safety, I want to say. So I think now is a pretty good pass opportunity. Looks like that is Horn, but the opponent's so far behind in points, they're going to need a real, big play to catch up, and I don't know that there's much that will do that. Jorveth definitely isn't it. Unfortunately for them, and of course these Skulls are going to make Crushing Trap just terrible if the opponent has it. Yeah, not completely useless, but pretty bad for sure. And there's the Pitfall. Having to play that blank is definitely no good for the opponent. Looks like they are going to just pass out, tap out the round, and give us the win. Very nice. And I think that actually is the rank up to rank 2. We're getting there. Slowly but surely. Either way, that went pretty well. I think the deck's quite strong, and it's definitely a fun one. I love playing Arnjolf. The leader is very, very cool. Anyway, thanks a lot for watching, guys. Do subscribe if you would like more videos, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.